Exactly.
How will you advise the younger generation to not get kind of carried away by possessions and actually nurture a hobby and, if possible, make money from?
I think, see, I'm quite impressed with the new generation, and every generation has something new. Every 10 years, you look at the new generation, and they have something new to add. So I don't think I'll have much to sort of offer them. In fact, I like to spend a lot of time, through either consumer conversations or just in general. Kids in my family, the young adults in my family, I like to spend a lot of time with them to just see what's happening. They are like my sources or my ears and eyes to this new world that I cannot experience on my own. And they simplify it for me. And in many ways, I think I personally think that they're quite creative. The fact that this current generation is a very digital first generation. They're creative on their own, and in fact, they're able to describe things a lot more interestingly and are able to sort of differentiate and say, oh, this is different from this. That itself, is in a way an appreciation for creativity in my view. But I think, if I have to sort of, and therefore I continue to spend time with them, but if at all I have to sort of look at what they can better, could be that, the sense I get is that because they've been very digital first, they've been very independent. Unlike my generation, which grew up where one had to, if you had to play, you had to play with friends. If you had to, you could not play alone. You studied together. You always had another family member or a brother or a sister. A lot of these kids are also, single children. So what typically tends to happen is it has created a distance between each other, between people in general. And I get a sense that there is lack of collaboration, lack of, while they appreciate multiple viewpoints that, I agree with you. And, I don't sense the excitement around collaboration, and a lot of exciting things happen when people collaborate.
True.
So I think that's something that I would really nudge this generation to sort of do. Try and push yourself to see, not just hear others' viewpoint, but also try and see how that can add to your life. So working together could be. I sense there's a lot of skepticism in terms of others in general, because you've been so independent. You prefer to work alone, and you see a lot of the youngsters becoming freelancers and doing independent work. Exactly, and but eventually you will realize that while there's a lot of work that you can do on your own, there's AI but I think the real real push or creativity will really come about is when you start to collaborate, create things together. Experience different ways of working. You could be working in one way, but when you work with somebody else, you discover a new way of doing things, and that I think that's where so shun that skepticism, embrace working with other people, because eventually the progress will be a collaborative work. It cannot be individually pursued. So one has to sort of. So I think if you were to collaborate and work with others, discover ways of doing things with different people, I think that's something that this generation can really value a lot from, can really
Makes
take
sense.
forward from.
This is really poignant, and it's a great conversation. The two core tenets that I'm kind of taking away from this conversation. The first one is how you have been able to integrate both parts of your life, as you said, right? The both types of creativities. And I read that post on learning from teapots and using it for brand strategy. It's super interesting. So amazing. And the second thing that comes up to mind is how well-roundedness, Lee, you have thought your life. You talk about your daughter, talk about your family, you talk about pottery, you talk about brand strategy. You have been able to kind of have a well-rounded life, which is something I would say a lot of people wish to achieve. They're not able to kind of achieve.
I hope that continues,
Yes. I believe that's an amazing blessing that you have. So yeah, amazing.
Truly.
Thanks for your time, man. This was a fun conversation. Actually,
same here, man. Thank you. Yeah. And when you talk about yourself, there are parts of you that you discover yourself. So I think, thank you for making this happen.
This was amazing.
It was great talking to you, man.
See you.
Take care, man.